Hello, my cabbages, and welcome back to another mapping video. Apparently my voice sounds sick, but I don't think I'm sick. So, I don't know. Why does it sound so sick? No? Okay, maybe a bit better. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But, so, yeah, I never really went on the implications of, new borders of this area, but, we got new borders, the whole, a lot of nations, honestly, not really much happened with, the Indigo team before, but, their border hadn't changed for, a long while. They're just kind of bouncing back and forth between different, power rankings, but now they're actually kind of losing because, they just lost a war because they sided with the blue team. Yes, you watched last episode, so. Yeah, now the blue team, doing power rankings, now they're 9th place, so, not looking too good. Making a power rankings video coming out soon, after this episode, probably, later today. Not too lazy. But yeah, the purple team doing pretty good, and also, I realized this border here has, this, one area is held since, the first episode. So, yeah, it's definitely an old border there, but, yeah, no, so it's going well, for these nations. Damn, why is my voice so bad right now? I'm trying to, I don't think I'm sick, but I sound like I'm sick. Dark red team not doing as well. We got the orange team doing better, kind of cutting them off. They involved in the war and actually won this war, so yay. We got this new central kind of pale blue team, and we got this dark green team over here. The green team's honestly looking pretty unstable because, well, kind of cut off between 3 different areas. And this comes to a head. It's not really. It's more of a peaceful. It's peaceful head. Peaceful head that comes to. But basically, instead of dark green this time, we get light green, and this area decides to peacefully rebel. They talk about it before, and they're like, okay, yeah, it's because the leader of the green team are smart. They know they can't hold on to them, and they're like, okay, we just need to let them be free. Just so you know, the borders changing aren't attacks, or just make the borders look better, in my opinion. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, these areas are a bit closer together, but still kind of, and you kind of seeing this, they're like less stable, so they decided to basically, damn, I really do sound sick, unless I don't, and then I just sound like I'm talking about being sick, and I don't sound sick at all. That would be weird. But yeah, then the green team decides to connect up these 2 areas so they can have better kind of travel. So yeah, and also just in case, the light blue team's kind of, not super against anything right now, but at the same time, damn, I really do. Same time, so gonna create, actually there was a trade route here, and then here, so trade route like this, so still connecting to the blue team, but just in case something happens with the light blue team, they created a trade route around here in this area. The board does not look the best, but yeah, so more trade routes. Honestly, should be more with how the world is right now, and I gotta add a capital for the Dark Green Nation. I can add that later, but let's just say they have a trade route going to the capital, which would be right there. So friendly trade route. Some of these nations still keep their trade route. They're still kind of complementary, but also there's probably a lot of sanctions placed on these nations, like the blue team, Indigo team. So even though they didn't lose as much land like the Indigo team, they're still feeling the sanctions pretty hard. So yeah. And then we got the orange team trade route still suffering a bit ever since they had taxes, even though the taxes are lower. It's doing slightly better, but and then we got this trade route, which is this area is sea-based. Yeah, I guess that needs clarification, but sea-based trade route because they have some navality. But yeah, most of the trade routes are centered in this area. That's just because where most population is. Other than the gray team still has them, amount of population, because they're actually the strongest nation right now, I would say. Especially with the blue team kind of falling off, was used to be pretty strong, so they're kind of not as much contest. They're really, I keep on calling them a team, but really by this point they are the Gray Empire, because there has been many nations that they destroyed. Even last episode we had the light gray team, we had there's red, yellow, cream, there's also mint, olive, green. There's so many nations. Used to be super balkanized until, you can still see with the religious borders, it's kind of partially balkanized, but not as bad, but still it's but thankfully they're not religiously oppressing, so or depressing. They're not depressed. Okay, yeah, so these nations here, I need to delete that because, this country doesn't exist anymore, are kind of strong because they're in an alliance, but the brown team is the only country bordering them that isn't really in alliance, and their capital of the brown team is literally right there. Sorry. So in basically one fell swoop, they kind of take over the... I need to make that look good. Priorities, alright. Take over the capital, which is already kind of bad, but they can still hold on because they still have these two major cities that they're emergency backup governments basically. So the gray team just kind of, before they can even mobilize more, because they're still relocating, takes over this city, and after a bit they can kind of push back and try to sever them off so they can kind of cut through. And at first they're oh, good job, we did that, guys, wow, crazy. But well, first they kind of go like this, and even this, these nation keeps on going. They're huh? How? It's called ships. They have warships. They use there's a port here and a port here because, they had a port for trade. So they go through the port, go around here, and they resupply them. Warships. Because they probably have pretty good naval fleet. Maybe not the best naval fleet. I feel oh yeah, they take over that city also. I feel the orange team has a weirdly good naval fleet because kind of how they're stationed here. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, they have a decent naval fleet, and after that, they keep on growing from here, and the brown team still acting stupidly tries to cut them off even more and try and get back their city, because but now because they got all their major cities, they're kind of outposting from let's just say here-ish, and they're trying to keep that a secret because they're oh, if they find out, they'll find us. But then the gray team leader finds out that they're outposting over there and basically forms a spearhead towards that area, and most of the troops were down here trying to fight them off. I mean, there's still some troops over here defending the capital, but there was only no effort for the gray team, and they also kind of using another spearhead and kind of box in these brown team troops, and they don't really have a port, so they can't do that like they did, and slowly destroy them off. And now they're kind of left without anywhere, so they basically, a bunch of brown team refugees start fleeing into the dark brown team because they don't want to be captured by the gray team, because they're kind of I mean, they're not horrible, but they've kind of heard some stories, if you know what I mean. But they quickly take over the rest of this nation, the rest of the brown team, and becoming even bigger, which is, wait, what? Is there a, wait, they're on the square team? Was that an old leftover one? I don't know. Which is oh, they took over this nation, and, was it this one? Yeah, that one. The dark brown team kind of seeing this and being because they're kind of the next one that they could be going after, after the brown team, basically goes like, hey, 4-pointed stars over there, can I join? And they allow them to join, which actually means the brown team still is their new strongest member, because they were like pretty good, but kind of smaller. But helps the brown team and helps the 4-pointed stars. The gray team's like kind of like not the best for us, but they're like, well, we'll try and find some allies of our own. Which isn't gonna happen yet, because I have plot ideas for, but this team is one of the teams that I have owned by someone. I don't wanna. And this team. I kind of forced them into alliance without telling them. But I don't know. So yeah, we got the gray team expanding even more, which is at this rate to be expected. So. A great team has its eyes on you. So yeah, this Rose team, honestly, looking the weakest out of all the teams right now, is like trying to like expand a bit. And they're basically doing, actually, the great team probably already has this, but basically following the footsteps of the great team is what they call forced militarization. They force people to be in the military, which probably already in the great team. I'm just making better borders. But people kind of don't like this, and like, you're following the rules of the gray team, and like, I thought we were better than them, and like, we could, they're actually probably both sides using propaganda, being like, hey, we're better than them, we gotta win this war to show our ideals or something. And they're kind of like, hey, why are you following their ideals? I thought we have better ideals than them, so why are we forced to follow them? And people are kind of like, and this is like a universal, like, you have to have service, so like a lot of like 50 or 60-year-old like people that are like, especially in olden times, way past their prime, still have to fight in the war, and they're like, what? The Rose team kind of collapses in a civil war. And this is absolutely the worst time to collapse in a civil war, with the looming threat of the gray team right there. So yeah, we got this kind of magenta team, rebellion really, and they kind of like, and they kind of go like this, and they kind of start winning a bit until that was just really the first strike, and then the Rose team is like, oh no, it kind of goes like, it goes like, yeah, sure, pushing back, and actually starts pushing back pretty well until somehow, I don't know what team would want to destroy the Rose team and maybe take them over themselves. No. Somehow this team starts on winning. Wow, that's crazy. That's, wow, so crazy. Crazy, so crazy. Crazy, so crazy. And takes over the capital and basically forms a new Rose team government. But whoa, the Dark Gray team taking over another nation in the same episode? Oh yeah, so that is pretty crazy. They quickly storm towards the capital, and the Dark Rose team has realized they have been played. By weakening them and causing like infighting, basically what the ruler did is like, hey, I'm not fighting anyone in your alliance, because technically he wasn't fighting anyone in the alliance. He was just fighting a rebellion. Like, wow, guys, I helped you put down a rebellion. And the dark brown team and the lime and dark blue team, which are the only 3 teams left on the alliance, are kind of like, you kind of just heard remembering, like, I don't think I did. But they still don't know if they could. Like, they might be able, but they still don't know if they could. So, and also, like, the gray team's been using all their army, so they decide to rest for now. But, the gray team is looking ever more threatening by day to day. Seriously, the gray team is starting to look pretty big. And most of this from, like, it used to be balkanized, so all these areas used to be populated, and it's looking like bigger than the dark brown teams, similar size to the orange team, bigger than like light blue team. Damn. Yeah, no, it's really looking strong. So yeah, dark gray team is the strongest team. But then definitely purple is second place because purple, God. But purple, after fighting the war, still having like their military might, you know, kind of on the high from the war, and also getting sanctions from the blue team, decides, hey, you know, why not expand? Well, there is a reason not to expand. Mainly, if we look at the... Oh, I didn't add this to the religion map. Wait, no, that's not a religion map. Yeah, I did not add it to the religion map. I feel like it's always... Oh. Boom. And it goes a bit farther than this, but you know, this is kind of what happened to the blue team before. Yeah, not always the same religious areas, and they're kind of like, So first, they're not immediately gonna break away. They're like, hey, give us some autonomy. So we're gonna create an autonomous region, which I would love to do, but it's gonna take. They're gonna create an autonomous region, so basically they can get more autonomy while also still being part of the Purple Nation. So they're officially part of the Purple Nation, but now are kinda also, you know, parts like their own. So kind of like Austria-Hungary thing, I guess. Not quite as extreme yet as Austria-Hungary, because they don't have as many rights as Austria-Hungary because they're more left. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, so they basically create their own zone of freedom. Because, you know, they want their perceived religious rights. Oh my god, why do I keep on doing that? The red culture. So, yeah. I mean, at least they're doing better than the blue team, which kind of murdered them. So, at least they're handling it better. Which is not a hard thing to do, but still good. Blue team, why did you do that? But yeah. So they create their own, like, autonomous region out here, and the far extends to the purple team, because honestly the purple team's been growing pretty big. And growing like a little bit like this. And over. Yeah. So, on autonomous region, I should cut this out, but okay, yeah, they have their own autonomous region out here for their religious rights. So yeah, kind of big autonomous region. Purple team's like, they're kind of divided because they're kind of, you know, we got the liberals and conservatives basically, because, you know, they kind of, just a general idea, they're not called that, but, you know, different parties. And like the liberals are like, oh yeah, give them religious freedom, and the conservatives are like, no, they're just gonna be more rebellious, and then we're gonna collapse as a nation, and behold it. So yeah, we're strong as, like, blue was really strongly conservative. They're not as conservatives, but you know, fun stuff. So yeah, I mean, actually pretty good stuff for wholesomeality wise. But, wholesomeality, I gotta love my wholesomeality. But, even with that, this dark green team, you know, kind of being small and being a new nation, decides, hey, what do you say except expansion? Oh, my ways. What can I say except expansion? But yeah, they expand. But, you know, being a bigger nation, yeah, this pale gray team is kind of stuck in here, kind of sandwiched between a bunch of different teams. But yeah, so dark red team, not going well. But the whitish gray team, they're kind of like, hey, and they kind of want to expand because they're feeling a bit small. And they're still really weak because most of this area isn't populated. Their capital's a bit populated. But they're one of those things where this is judicial capital, but this is actually their population capital over here. Like, the most people live there. But, oh. Yes, I'm making... They go bye-bye, just like the European countries. We do not talk about the European countries. They never existed. Yeah. Huh? What was I talking about? Nothing? Huh? Yeah, I was talking about nothing. Now that the brainwashing is complete, totally normal situation of facts. That was actually happened. So yeah, they expand, quite a bit. Not quite a bit, but like decently so. So yeah, they're looking stronger. Honestly, I still think they're not as strong as the Dark Red team, but with the sanctions, I think they're slowly getting stronger. So they're gonna like pass them soon. So, doing decently well. Blue team not doing well at all. Blue team still, like, they kind of collapsed before, and this is a new government because they're kind of like forcing them to have a new government. Get the liberals on instead of the conservatives. So they're kind of like, hey, new government, what am I saying? But the dark green team, honestly, not much has happened with them. They decide to, it's not even that dark, I don't know what I'm saying, dark green team. They start exploring these islands and start expanding on them because, well, these islands have been kind of unexplored. And they're basically, like, upping their naval power. They actually already had, pretty good naval power. Some of the best naval power, I would actually say, because their capital's on an island. Even though that's not a far naval distance, they've been training. So they've been improving their naval power so they can kind of reach farther along these islands. So, good for the green team. But like also, even though they have better naval power, it's still like taking a while for shipments to kind of reach them. And they just keep on expanding and not worrying about the people already there. But right now, they're just expanding happily. And no tensions whatsoever. Why would there be tensions? What are those? So, yeah, they basically, no, that is a different green. Basically, keep on expanding along these island nations, or just islands, and they get to this like relatively big island. I feel like I should know this. I know this is like Haiti over here, but and they're kind of far away now, so they have to kind of island hop to get there. But oh no, who could have seen this happening? The local populace is not actually that happy, so they form a dark purple team. Sure, why not? So they kind of rebel and slowly kind of propagates outwards. They need to add more capitals until like about here. Until these nations are relatively content. So I'm like, okay. They don't want to really wage a war against them, but liberals kind of fine with it. Conservatives kind of not. I feel like most areas have some conservatives. But right now the king is feeling pretty liberal because of course it's monarchy. Less monarchy. I should add a layer for that. So with their newfound freedom, they decide to explore more, and they find a even bigger island over here. Wow. And then they're like, oh yeah, no, that's populate. Isn't this Dominican Republic? I feel like that's offensive if I don't know the name. I know this side is Haiti. This is Jamaica. Spelling that I thought. This is Cuba. Yeah, I think that's the Dominican Republic, but shouldn't be making uninformed guesses. But yeah, so they expand on the eastern side of the island. So yeah, going pretty well for this new nation. So yeah, I mean they kind of do have a rival, and then green team because they broke away from them. But right now it's fine. What? Fine. Be fine. Gotta love me, Kobe, be fine. Okay, yeah, so they basically expand on the island. I really don't know why does that border look so bad. Just, yeah, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Fine. Okay, so, yeah, they expand on the island, you know, so we got a new... Honestly, this is our really first island nation. Oh. Because the islands actually haven't been as explored as they should have been. So, yeah, we got our basically first island nation over here. And also, I feel like these areas should be explored by now. This part of Honduras, or I don't know, the Yucatan Peninsula, and kind of the dark blue team, kind of feeling threatened by, you know, what? Threatened by the gray team? What did they do? Decides to expand. What did they do? Decides to expand across the Yucatan Peninsula. Not too far though, because you know they know about rapid overexpansion, so they're kind of hugging the coastlines a bit. But basically, a group of explorers that want to expand more, kind of just go like, "Hey, let's expand and explore this Yucatan Peninsula." Because they're kind of partially scared of the gray team, so they decide why not get away from the gray team, but also still kind of be close enough to the dark blue team that you know we're not completely in danger if something happens. So they decide to basically make a new Yucatan nation. That's not an abomination of the nations. Let's have a new olive team. This is our like third olive team or something, I don't know. But yeah, they make a team at the top of the Yucatan Peninsula. A bit of curvy curves. So yeah, they take over this area, and they're happy to kind of be away from them. And they're not gonna be in their, not gonna be like kind of affiliated with them in the alliance yet, but they're friendly. They're friendly. But yeah, so we got this new olive nation at the end of the Yucatan Peninsula. Also, I feel like these areas should be like thicker. They explored it better, you know, kind of. So the Lime Nation decides to expand a bit thicker like this. Like that. And this Wildfur Nation is customary for, not that much, but Skies Nation over here decides, hey, what did I say except expansion? You know my ways. So this episode, relatively tame. Some expansions, some rebellions, you know, a little bit of what's happening over here. But yeah, that's it for today, and goodbye, my cabbages.